Live.
Wow.
That was a hell of a point. Oh, God.
But am I right?
Oh, you're always right, Carl.
Alright, this is Carl, the producer of Ricky Gervais and Stephen Merchant on XFM 104.9. We're playing out some of the best bits, hope you're enjoying it. Here's another one.
And now it's Carl's bit. It's the re-education of Carl. He's like Liza Doolittle. And now he's coming to, or Lawnmower Man, if you've seen that film. More like Lawnmower Man, if you've seen the film. You know what I mean. And his homework was to just study quotes, really, on happiness and stuff, and general well-being. He's not a big happiness quote fan, are you, Carl?
Not really.
So what have you done? You've come up with something, haven't you?
Right, yeah, I told you, right? Because a lot of these are just things you say every day. They're nothing special. So what I'm doing...
Well, you say them every day.
Well, the sort of things you come out with and you don't even think about it, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're on the TV all the time, people on the radio are saying these sort of little quotes.
Sure.
And what I've done is, remember that programme on Channel 4, Faking It?
Yeah.
Where they got some, like, posh kid to be on a door and all that. What I've done, I've...
Imagine if that was the pitch for the show. Dear Channel 4. Just gonna get a posh kid on a door or something?
Yeah, come in. Yeah,
TV producer.
Yeah, go on.
So, what I've done, this little book of quotes, happiness quotes, I've picked two that are real,
Okay.
and I've made one up. Alright?
And we've got a guess.
And you've got to guess which
then,
one it is.
go on.
Well, I'll tell you what, Rick, why don't we, when we've heard them, we won't confer.
No.
You'll write down yours,
Yeah.
A, B or C, and I'll write down mine and we'll
Sure.
see how it
Okay,
works.
Carl, off you go.
Right, and just because I'm looking at this book, it doesn't mean I'm actually reading.
No, I know,
Don't
no,
worry,
I know.
we're clever.
No, we know, we can't see yet.
Like, call my bluff.
Yeah, go on then.
Nothing is worth more than this day.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah?
Alright.
Yeah.
The way I see it,
Oh God, my head's gonna burst.
no, hang on.
My head's gonna burst.
No,
Hang
no,
on.
this might not be Carl's.
It might not be.
How do you know I haven't tweaked them a little bit?
Yeah, good
Okay,
point.
fair
Good
enough.
point. No, good point.
The way I see it, if you want the rainbow, you got to put up with the rain.
Yeah. Okay.
Alright?
Alright, yeah.
Okay, no. It's not here.
Come on.
Cat food,
Cat food, come on.
it stinks a bit, but if you don't put up with the smell, the little kitten will die.
Steve, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. Imagine him faking it. Imagine their faces when he says that, and they're going, "Oh my God." Oh. Carl, play a song, mate.
We'll have to confer on this one.
Go on in.
Right. First one. Nothing is worth more than this day.
Excellent. Next one.
What does that mean?
Well, cherish now. Cherish your time.
Okay.
Because you can't get it back, and
Yeah.
you know.
That's the way I saw it.
Carpe diem, whatever it is, seize the day and all that.
Okay. If you want the rainbow, you've got to put up with the rain.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, rough with the smooth. You know, it's not all plain sailing, but you know, rainbow's beautiful, but it comes because of the rain, which you might not like. So
Yeah.
make the most of everything, and
Yeah.
good.
Cat food doesn't smell good, but if you don't put up with it, then the little kitten will die.
Right, no, Carl, that is a good effort. Now that one's yours. I mean, obviously, right? Right, no, but it's a good effort, right?
I mean, it slipped seamlessly into the others.
Yeah.
Don't think it didn't.
No, but it's good. I mean, we knew it was that one. But what I will say is, it's good. But what you don't know, maybe subconsciously, is, I mean, it's very similar to the putting up with the rain and the rainbow. But that's good.
Why do you think that?
Well,
What does mine mean?
well, even though it smells bad, it's good for something.
Right,
So
see,
that's
I didn't look at it like that.
What do you look at?
I kind of thought...
Was yours more specifically about cat food, generally? Because you know, normally it's an analogy.
Yeah, or a metaphor for something, you know.
Well, no, the way
I mean,
looked at it-
Dolly Parton, who I think did the rainbow rain thing, she wasn't specifically concerned about weather conditions.
No.
It was a sort of general idea.
It's all about life.
Yeah. Well, that's what I've done.
Go on,
I've used an everyday thing
Yeah.
and put it with today's problems, right?
Go on.
So, like, my girlfriend, yeah, she might like to go shopping for clothes. I hate it,
Right.
but because I love her, I put up with it.
Ah, that's nice.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So, you love that little kitten. You can't stand the smell of the stuff you got to feed it, but because it's just for a few minutes, and then I can, like, squeeze its head later and give it a little...
Sorry.
Squeeze its little head.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's just the thing that I do with cats.
Put it in a bag and drown it in a lake.
I can feed it and then I can throw it against the wall.
So you didn't see it like that, did you?
No, that's very good. So it's about love, is it? It's about putting up with the bad things
Yeah.
for something you love.
Yeah.
Well, that's nice.
But
That's very
Carl,
good.
you seem now to be convinced and rather smug that you've tricked us and that you've fooled us and that we didn't understand it. Well, I say that's your fault, not ours.
No, it's not, though. I mean, look, that man in Forrest Gump, he was a bit of a nutter. And he came up with the life as a box of chocolates thing.
Yeah.
Now, if that was in this book, you say, oh yeah, brilliant, you know, good bit of work. But if he was sat here doing the show with you,
Yeah.
you'd be taking the mickey out of him.
Sometimes I feel he is.
No, but Carl, I could. In fact, if people are out there, we're too lazy. Could you write down everything Carl's ever said? Because I think we could publish that.
Yeah.
He said one today. He saw my salamander. It's not a euphemism. He saw my salamander, and it's just sitting there in the tank.
Your exotic pet.
Yeah, and he's worried about there not being a lid on. And he said, I went, what are we worried about? He said, well, he said it sits there for 24 hours a day, obviously planning to get out.
Well, it's got nothing else on its mind, and it's the daft thing is, he has actually got the lid ripped up a little bit. And I'll be looking up there, and
Yeah.
it's going to get out.
But what's the worst that could happen?
What's it thinking? What do you think it's thinking, this salamander?
It's got its eye on the DVD player. I could have Ian be down the market.
Class. What with the
I love the
Casbah?
fact you had at least 3 minutes to get that right.
I know.
To prepare and get that right.
I know, but my mouth was full of Maryland cookies. Yeah. You know, last week, this would blow your mind. He came in, do you know what he bought for himself? About 10 penguins. Who buys penguins still?
No. All wagon wheels.
Oh, I've never liked wagon wheels.
Not being a fan?
No, but I'm sorry about that. It's the Clash and Rock the Casbah. Talking about records, have I told you that time my brother-in-law, he was moving out of his place, I think moving in with my sister, and I was about like, I don't know, 13, and so he was about 30, and I moved in, and he brought round all his records when he was storage to leave them at our house. Right, and he had all these old sort of records, 50s and 60s records, no, I was right, and they put them upstairs, and I was looking through them, and it's just all like Elvis stuff and Beatles stuff, and there was a mate of mine who loved Elvis, okay, and he had loads of chemicals, yeah, he had loads of chemicals, and I was into chemistry, and he said I swap me some chemicals for them, so I sort of nicked about 5 Elvis singles, and I got all these chemicals, and then the guilt just hit me. I just thought, well, he's going to notice that, and one night I just came downstairs and I confessed to my mum, and she went, all right, well, I won't tell him, but you've got to be good. And it's sort of like I was just really, really good for a year. And then I remember when I was about 18, my brother was talking about it, and he said, did you ever play those records I left for you?
Brilliant.
He told my mum, he said, these are for Ricky. She just didn't tell me.
She was sharp, wasn't she?
She used opportunism there.
Oh, that's genius.
And that was it. That's why I was good.
But you've never stolen anything since, have you?
No, I don't.
Except that spate of shoplifting after that to teach your mum a lesson.
yeah. Well, I went round and arson. No, I did. I just couldn't believe it. It was terrible.
I remember, and I think all kids go through a phase of shoplifting.
Well,
and when I was going through it, I used to just little things, just like magic markers and magazines, Mars bars, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And one day, right, my mate Anthony, his mum called up my mum and said, I've got to meet up with you. I've got to have a word with you. And she said, what about? She said, I don't want to talk about it over the phone. So she goes, oh right, well, yeah, come round tonight then. So anyway, my mum sees me, she don't want to be in an awkward position and like be a bit embarrassed and what have you, so she sees me and she goes, right, Anthony's mum's coming round, what have you been doing?
yeah.
So I go, oh God, I said, I've been nicking stuff. So she goes, like what? So not big stuff, I've had a few calculators and Mars bars and stuff.
How many? I'll just work it out. Hold on. Works out at 7.2 per day.
So,
How many calculators do you need?
so it was when that phase.
You failed maths, didn't you?
Everyone wanted a calculator. It was like a trendy thing, wasn't it?
Right,
Oh yeah, in Manchester a couple of years ago. Yeah.
So anyway, so I told her all this and I confessed to
Computers will make it there one day.
There's magic in the back of battery. Go on.
confessed to nicking all this stuff. She comes round. She only wanted to borrow some money.
Brilliant.
She said, "No, I don't like asking. I was a bit embarrassed to ask you over the phone, but can I borrow 20 quid?"
Oh, that's fantastic.
And there's me.
That's great.
And it's similar sort of thing to yours.
And did you...
And he went, hold on, Mum, let's work out the interest on that. I bank 10%. She'll owe you £4.40.
So your mum was a loan shark.
yeah.
And did she mention
She
that
went,
you
I just
with that other? Because what I'm saying is, presumably you got your mate in trouble.
No.
Right, you know,
That's great.
Anyway, should we have some more music? 'Cause,
Yeah,
we've
go
been
on.
waiting for hours.
What are you going to play, Carl?
We've got the Cooper Temple Clause
Oh,
lined up.
brilliant.
Please.
Cooper Temple Clause. Who needs enemies? Good question, lads. Nobody. 6FM 104.9. I'm Ricky Gervais.
Oh, they should print a little book of those. Oh, great. Oh, how you can relate any song or artist to anything else.
Easy,
Joyful.
easy. Well, yeah. So me and Carl went out for a beer, and it was great, wasn't it?
Yeah,
We started off,
Good.
and you met my mate Robin, didn't you?
Yeah.
And some of the stories. Do you want to tell Steve some things about Robin that you
Robin,
learned?
do you know him well?
Yes.
Well, do you know about his worm problem as a kid?
Go on.
Right. He what I can remember is he had worms as a kid. Not sure how you get him. He never answered me. He was getting a bit touchy about it.
Right.
This is like the second time I met him. And I think he was a bit annoyed that Ricky told me about his problem.
What
Yes.
now? Now straight away, you not being there, instinctively, what do you think went on with this story about worms?
My suspicion is rather like when you told a group of people that Robin had once suckled milk from a cow's udder.
Yeah.
Did you mention that as well?
Yeah.
Yeah. My suspicion is that, like the cow story, the worm story is not true.
But
And Robin-
why would he get so sort of uppity about it?
Well,
Because it's not true.
imagine if that wasn't the first time he'd done it. Imagine if he did that every single time he was with somebody for the first time and Robin was just met them. He will tell that story to anyone.
But they do say there's no smoke without fire.
Oh, Robin! I also told him that the way Robin cured these worms was because the doctor told his mother, right, to hold a piece of ham or cheese near Robin's anus so the worms would come out for the food, and he believed it.
I'll tell you why, though.
I said to Robin used to sit on spam to try and get the worms out, and he believed it.
But Steve, right, do you remember that story about 3 or 4 years ago where there was some bloke in the army? He went away to somewhere, Vietnam or whatever. He was messing about in the woods.
Messing about in the woods?
Shouldn't he have been fighting?
Whatever.
Yeah.
Right, and he walked through some lake, and I think he'd cut his toe or something on something, and some worm, of some sort, crawled in the gash.
Yeah.
And it was in his body, and the doctor said, "We've got to get this out of your body." So what they did was they said, right, the thinnest part or something of your body that things can crawl through is on the top of your head. So they wrapped
Where the skull is?
So they wrapped some bacon.
No, they didn't!
They did. That's
Oh,
the
right.
thing.
So
Everyone.
it's gone in via the toe. So what we do is, I'll tell you what, that worm's probably heading straight for the head. We'll put a bit of bacon on it. The thinnest part of the body is the skull. Of course it's not the thinnest part of the body. It's where your brain case is, isn't it? It's the skull.
There was a reason for it, and it was like they stuck some bacon on his head. And
As ever, the vital piece of information, i.e. the reason, Carl seems to have forgotten.
because the worm was in his body, and they said everyone likes to smell the bacon.
Including
even a
worms.
worm. Even a Vietnamese lake worm. They love
Remember
bacon.
Remember last week when I said about the little fella with the bone with no brain, and you were proved wrong?
No. We were saying it wasn't a little fella. We were saying it was a stillborn child. It wasn't a little
You're
fella.
changing it now. You weren't having any of it last
Right,
week.
hang on a minute. I'm getting confused. There was a Vietnamese There wasn't there was a Vietnamese snake that went inside of a soldier.
A little like maggot or some sort that you have to get out of your body because it causes problems.
Yes, and so in order to get it out of the
It was a mop.
body, they strapped bacon to his head.
That is great. This doctor.
And did that work?
I think so. They had a picture of him smiling.
Oh, God, what, the worm or the bloke?
The bloke.
Oh, dear.
Honestly, I hope someone knows the story.
Right.
It was about 3 years ago, I reckon.
Okay.
And yeah, it did work.
G.I. Bacon.
So this is why
And so what, the worm burrowed out of his head to get the bacon?
get to the bacon.
Right. That's great.
So this is why when Robin was telling his story, I was a little bit disappointed if it wasn't true.
Right.
Because in a way,
You know Robin's never been to Vietnam.
No, but what do you really think that Robin, well, as Robin said at the time, Carl, why would I sit on ham then tell Ricky Gervais? It's a very good point.
because if he was a kid, you do daft things like that as a kid.
Right.
See what
It's
I
the
mean?
telling Ricky Gervais, though.
Yeah. And then,
Yeah.
oh, bless him.
Okay.
And then anyway, then Robin left, and I tried to chase him, but he got away, and he knows that we, and then we had a few pints, and then Carl embarked on some of the greatest stories ever told. Can you tell the story about your dad?
Let me run it. I haven't spoke to him all week, so let me run it by him.
Okay, play records.
Because
What we got?
we've got one of Steve's.
Yeah, well,
stories.
bizarrely enough, this comes from the Teachers 2 soundtrack, the soundtrack to the current TV series. There's a slight whiff of nepotism in the air.
Yeah.
Rick, would you like to explain why?
Well, that's why you're doing it. No, my girlfriend worked on it, but
Yeah.
you were going to play this anyway, weren't you?
Well, I was actually. Bizarrely enough, I was going to play some I Am Clute, and this is from, as I say, the Teachers soundtrack. This is called To You. It's a good track. That's I Am Clute, and a track called To You from the Teachers soundtrack. That's also got, I noticed the Electric Soft Parade, The Hives, Star Sailor, Feeder, Turin Break, Smoky Rev on there. It's a good little collection.
Lovely. Carl has just had confirmation. He's looking smug because someone phoned up and went, "It is true. It's a Laogai chi worm, and you wrap bacon around your head." That's all the bloke knew as well.
Yeah.
And his name was Gary.
Yeah.
So I'm not having it.
No.
And he said, see, that's why the Robin thing isn't so weird. He said, but when you said he tried it with cheese, he said I was having none of it. He's got standards. Strokes, hard to explain. Like Carl, really.
Yes. Yes.
So, Carl, concentrate.
Yeah, go on.
So, we'll leave the worm with the bacon wrapped around the head, shall we?
Well, if you're ever caught in the jungle,
Yeah. Always carry some...
bit of Danish.
Good advice. Lovely. So, would you like to start on your... to Steve, because I've heard all these.
We won't do them all.
We'll start off with the Mr. Freeze. Tell Steve the story of Mr. Freeze. This is the first time he nearly died.
This is the most serious of the lot, really. So, what it was, do you know, like, I don't know if your mum and dad did the same thing, but, like, they do the weekly shopping on like, a Friday.
Yeah.
So when you got to Thursday, there won't be much stuff left. And so when they'd been to the supermarket and they came back, I was like, what's that saying? Like a pig in... I loved it. It was like loads of food coming in, loads of biscuits.
What is that saying?
He nearly said pig and shit.
Right.
Is that the same?
Yeah.
Right. So all this food comes in.
Thank God he didn't.
Otherwise he'd have been in trouble.
That's true enough.
Because he's culpable for our actions, because
Exactly.
he's the producer. So technically, that twat's in charge. Go on.
Right. So anyway, so there's loads of food, and I'm like, oh yeah, look at this, and chocolate biscuits, and penguins and stuff.
Bacon.
And bacon.
Just in case, you never know.
So anyway, my mum and dad's putting the food away. Me and our kid are like, he's already grabbed something, gone back upstairs.
It's like feral children. it's like a quest for fire. And then they run upstairs. Well, he just sit under the bed, gnawing at some sort of pig's trotter.
So I saw, do you remember Mr. Freeze Pops?
I do. Yes. Well, they're kind of like popsicles, icicles.
Yeah, but really long, like a foot long, right?
Yeah.
So I thought, I'll have one of them, so I grabbed it.
Went for the nutritious stuff first.
Absolutely.
And like my mum and dad are putting the stuff away and what have you. And I rip it open and knock it back, right? Straight away, just right back like
Swallow it
that.
straight
Like
away,
that. But it went down the wrong way, right? So I
What,
was
down your shirt?
So I was like, oh God, I can't breathe. And my mum and dad didn't even know what I'd ate. Do you know what I mean? I ate it so quick.
Yeah.
And I'm sort of tapping my mum on the back, going, And she's going, oh God, you know, he's choking again, because I was always choking. If it was one thing, I don't know if I've got like a small throat, but I mean, even Ricky knows I can't drink that much, can I?
Yeah.
Do you know,
or eat pebbles.
I'm not a quick drinker.